Hello dear friends, welcome to another session of KAPS recalls discussion. Let's start with today's first question. Vaccine which is not taken in immunocompromised patients. The options are yellow fever, hepatitis B, hepatitis A and meningococcal B. So here the correct answer is option A, that is yellow fever. This yellow fever vaccination is contraindicated in patients with primary or acquired immunodeficiency and on immunosuppressive therapy including biologicals. Persons with most forms of altered immunocompetence should not receive live vaccines. Here this yellow fever vaccine is a live attenuated vaccine. So a vaccine is defined as a biological preparation formulated to provide acquired immunity for a particular disease. Usually vaccines contain a weakened or killed form of the disease causing agent, its surface proteins or its toxins. There are different types of vaccines available. They are inactivated vaccines, live attenuated vaccines, mRNA vaccines or messenger RNA vaccines, subunit recombinant polysaccharide and conjugate vaccines, toxoid vaccines, and viral vector vaccines. Live vaccines use a weakened or attenuated form of the germ that causes a disease. Because these vaccines are so similar to the natural infection that they help prevent, they create a strong and long-lasting immune response. Just 1 or 2 doses of most live vaccines can give you a lifetime of protection against a germ and the disease it causes. Live vaccines are used to protect against measles, mumps, rubella, that is the MMR combined vaccine, rotavirus, smallpox, chickenpox, and yellow fever. Here you can see examples for different types of vaccines. First of all, inactivated vaccines include hepatitis A, flu shot, polio, and rabies. mRNA vaccines are used to protect against COVID-19. Toxoid vaccines examples include diphtheria and tetanus vaccines. Then subunit recombinant polysaccharide and conjugate vaccines are effective against HIV, that is Haemophilus influenza type B disease, hepatitis B, HPV, that is human papilloma virus, whooping cough, it's a part of DTaP combined vaccine, pneumococcal disease, meningococcal disease, and shingles. Question number 47. An anti-arrhythmic drug, tocainide, is most similar in action to which one of the following agents? The options are amiodarone, propranolol, digoxin, and mexiletine. Among these options, these amiodarone and mexiletine are anti-arrhythmic agents. This propranolol is a non-selective beta blocker. Digoxin is a cardiac glycoside. Here the correct answer is option D, that is mexiletine. Let's see the classification of anti-arrhythmic drugs. Anti-arrhythmic drugs are classified into mainly 4 categories, that is class 1, class 2, class 3 and class 4. Class 1 are sodium channel blockers. They are subdivided into class 1A, 1B and 1C. Class 1A includes quinidine, procainamide and disopyramide. Class 1B includes lidocaine, mexiletine and tocainide. Class 1C examples include propafenone and fluocainide. Then class 2. Class 2 are beta blockers. Examples include propranolol, sotalol and esmolol. Class 3, potassium channel blockers. Examples include amiodarone, dronedarone, dofetilide and ibutilide. Class 4, calcium channel blockers, which include verapamil and diltiazem. So this tocainide is most similar in action to mexiletine because both are classified as group 1B anti-arrhythmic drugs. Next question. Which of the following is a common side effect of beta blockers? Options are headache, tachycardia, cold extremities and hyperglycemia. So here the correct answer is option C, that is cold extremities. That is, the beta blockers decrease the rate at which blood is delivered to the fingers and toes, but more importantly, a decrease in the volume of blood results in cold hands. So these cold hands are a common complaint of patients on beta blockers. Question number 49. Which of the following is not a triggering factor for asthma? The options are allergens such as pollen or pet dander, cold air, hot air, respiratory infections. So here the correct answer is option C, that is hot air. We know that asthma is a chronic lung disease affecting people of all ages. It is caused by inflammation and muscle tightening around the airways, which makes it harder to breathe. Asthma attacks may be triggered by exposure to allergens, exercise, stress, and respiratory infections. Cold, dry air is a common asthma trigger and can cause flare-ups. Cold air can cause dryness in your airways and cause the muscles to tighten. So among these options, hot air is the odd one out. It is not a triggering factor for asthma. Question number 50. Which medication is commonly associated with causing urinary retention in elderly patients? The options are aspirin, metformin, imipramine, and ibuprofen. So here the correct answer is option C, that is imipramine. This aspirin and ibuprofen are NSAIDs, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Metformin is a biguanide, that is an oral hypoglycemic agent. Imipramine is a tricyclic antidepressant. We know that this dry mouth, blurred vision, urinary retention, constipation, all these are anticholinergic side effects. So among these options, imipramine is a tricyclic antidepressant. This tricyclic antidepressant shows anticholinergic properties. So these medications with anticholinergic properties such as tricyclic antidepressants cause urinary retention by decreasing bladder detrusor muscle contraction. So with this question, we have completed today's discussion. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day. Let's see you in the next video session.